we're not gonna be able to go to this.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's meeting. My name is Brad Gottschall. I'm the Lower Paxton Township Manager. And in typical fashion, I'm going to give a brief overview of tonight's agenda, particularly for those watching at home on TV. It just as a quick programming note, if you will call it that, the public hearing on Ordinance 18-05 pertaining to the feeding of wild animals has been canceled for tonight out of deference to the absence of Mr. Chrisman. As this is an important issue before the board, it has been requested that all members be present to debate its merits before taking action. Beginning under old business, the board will act on an application for payment for the 2019 Township Paving Project, followed by Resolution 19-22-11 endorsing and supporting the submission of an application to the Dauphin County Local Share Program for the Central Penn Crusaders Youth Football Program. Under new business, the board will act on a confirmation of assignment with HRG, the township's engineer, for the Friendship Center HVAC rooftop unit replacement project phase 2. Secondly, the board will consider action on an agreement with Susquehanna Group Advisors for financial consulting services relative to the 2019 Series General Bond. Finally, to close the agenda, the board will act on improvement guarantees and the payment of township and authority bills. And at this point, the board is seated and prepared to begin their meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gottschall. We'll call this meeting of the Lower Paxton Township Board of Supervisors to order. I'd like to please ask everyone to stand, and Mrs. Lindsay will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have before us approval of the minutes of the meeting of June 4th, 2019. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the minutes for June the 14th, 2019.
So moved. Is there a second?
A second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We'll now go to public comment. Public comment is meant for any item that is not on the agenda tonight. If you wish to comment on an item on the agenda, you will be afforded that opportunity at the time that it comes up. So is there any member of the public who would like to address the board on an item not on the agenda tonight? Please come to the podium and give us your name and address.
Can I ask a question?
No, you need to go to the podium and give us your name and address. That way we have it for the minutes. And also there are people at home watching and they can't hear you in the audience. Yes, ma'am.
Janet Hoover and Bruce Hoover. We are at Union Tunnel Drive.
Could you pull the microphone down a little closer to you? Thank you.
Do you want me to repeat that?
Yes, please.
Janet and Bruce Hoover, Union Tunnel Drive. I just want to know if the township is aware of a safety issue on Devonshire Road. If you are, then I don't have to go into my big spiel. If you're not, I'll tell you about it.
Where on Devonshire Road, ma'am?
At the Giant Shopping Center.
The Giant Shop. No, please
Okay.
let us know your concern.
I've been told, I've talked to Giant, I've been told that there have been a lot of complaints about the signs at the exit where you are coming out of the shopping center onto Devonshire Road. If you attempt to turn left, there are two signs, one with the name of the shopping center and one from the flooring company. And they are placed right smack at the edge of the road. And if you're in a car like we have, you cannot see if there are cars coming down that hill, and they do fly down that hill, heading towards Route 22. So if you're trying to make a left-hand turn, it's very, very difficult.
Is this the exit that's closest to the shopping center or the one that's down closer to the drugstore?
It's right in front of Giant. If you come out of Giant and want to turn left and go to Devonshire Road.
And that would be the access road that goes right in front of the store then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. There are 2 signs there. You cannot see around them. I've talked to Giant. They said, well, that's not their property. They have no authority over the signage.
Kimco.
They said they've had a lot of complaints and they've passed it on.
What do the signs say, Giant or?
No, the sign says whatever the name of the shopping center is.
Oh, okay.
It's not a huge sign, but the position of it is right at your eyesight. Now, if you have a big honking truck or a humongous SUV, you can see over it. If you don't, then you can't see. You've got to pull out and pull out and pull out, and the cars come flying down there. They're just in the wrong place, compounded by the second sign, which is from the flooring company. So Giant said they passed it on. If they didn't pass it on to you, I don't know who they passed it on to.
Probably the owners of the shopping center.
Private property.
It's private property, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know who that is.
Well,
Yeah,
Mr.
Kimco
Gottschall, can we
owns
make a
that.
note of that? We can reach out to the owners and make them aware that there are public concerns about the placement of their sign. They might be willing to move it back a ways.
Certainly.
That would be the easiest thing for them to move it back because it's right out at the edge of the road. Now, there's one on the other side too, but I've never encountered that as being a problem, and I'm in and out of there all the time. So I've never seen that one as an issue. It's the one that is, as you're pulling out, it's the one on your left-hand side. As you're trying to look up that little rise and around that little corner, you cannot see what's coming. And what little space there's left, the sign is there.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're at, and I would think that Kimco would move that back if we contacted them. Yeah, so
Yeah, I've been
thank
waiting
you
for it to be
bringing
resolved, but
Yeah.
apparently it's not being resolved without someone giving a little push, maybe.
Yep.
We can push a little.
I appreciate that.
It
'cause I
it
use
is
that all the
private
time.
property, so they could, although I'm surprised that they were able to place a sign in that location and had approval for it. I don't know if that would have had to go through our processes or not. Might comply with the ordinance.
It very well could.
It's right in the
But-
right of way. But if it's
Yeah, I'm
if
not
it's a
quite
public
sure.
safety issue, I think that they would move it.
Right.
Yeah, if we contacted them, I think
Yeah.
they would move it back.
I
Not a
will give it a
problem.
try.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're with it that day and remember to go the other way and go down towards Home Depot and go out around where there's a light, fine. That's if you remember before you start pulling out, and then you can't back up. So,
No.
thank you.
Okay, thank you for bringing that to our attention. Sir?
Hi, my name is Ted Sutton. I live at 5704 Gordon Drive in the township. I was here to discuss your favorite subject, feral cats. Can you tell me when the meeting will be on that subject?
Because we postponed it, we have to re-advertise it. So the earliest that we can get it advertised and have the amount of time that has to elapse would be the first meeting in November.
Okay.
And now keep in mind that the first meeting in November will be on a Wednesday, not a Tuesday. It has been our practice that when board meetings fall on Election Day, Tuesday, we hold it the next day. So if you wish to address that issue, first meeting in November, but it's a Wednesday, so you want to make sure you notice that.
Okay, well, I made a personal plan changes just to be here. I'm supposed to be in Lancaster right now, so I'm a little disappointed. Is there a way I can put my thoughts in writing?
Oh, absolutely.
Would I address it to each supervisor or?
You can put your thoughts in writing and direct them to Mr. Gottschall, who will then put it in our packet so that we all get it.
Okay,
We'd be happy to read your comments. Yes, sir.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to address the board on an item not on the agenda? I think we're going to hear a little bit about what's coming up with the Historical Commission.
We should just put it on the agenda.
We really ought to just give them an agenda item. That's-
Well, it is the first meeting of the month,
Yes, sir.
and this coming Thursday, the 3rd of October, we're going to be doing a historical presentation on Blue Ridge Country Club. We've been lucky enough to be able to get a copy of the video that was done on Blue Ridge. It is actually a very amazing video on the history of Blue Ridge from the 1930s. They got a drone, they flew over the course in the fall before it was open, and just to see a tournament going on in the course and see the foliage on the mountain, it really is a very well shot, very beautiful video. But the most important thing is they have members of Blue Ridge that remember the start. They remember the people that started it, and they are able to tell how Blue Ridge came about in the very beginning. No politics. This is truly history and truly a presentation of the love that these members had for their country club. So I know some of you are going to be tied up Thursday night, but I wanted to get out to the audience so that everybody would know. We're expecting a big turnout, so come early. And once the video is done, it's about 22 minutes. And in fact, it's on your computer here because I tested it a week ago to make sure that it worked. And they're going to have a discussion from some of the early members that will be here telling what it was like and telling about the fire, which some of you may remember in the 1980s, and how they rebuilt the whole clubhouse to modernize it and fix it up. Because the original clubhouse dates back to 1932 when it was a farmhouse. So that's our meeting this month.
Gary would remember.
Joe, can we get that on your website after the meeting on Thursday night?
Yeah, I have permission to post it on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
And we'll be the first ones to show the video. And it will be, over the weekend, it'll be posted so everybody can see it.
Okay.
And then we'll be adding to it, we'll be posting the interviews that we have during our meeting. So there'll be 2 videos about the club. Any other questions?
I'm sorry that we can't attend, but we all have another commitment on Thursday.
I know, and we would push it, but I can understand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Would anybody else like to address the board on an item not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none. Chairman and board member comments, and Mrs. Lindsay, I think you have some very special comments
I
this
have a
week.
lot of stuff tonight. First of all, I want to congratulate Corporal Chad Miller and Officer Rex. They got picked to be on a national K-9 calendar from all over the nation. And this is Officer Rex. He's in the March issue. And if you purchase a calendar for $17, you can go downstairs to the police department. You will then receive it in an envelope with Corporal Miller and Officer Rex. So every month on the calendar, it's from a different state in the country. So I wanted to congratulate them. And the money goes towards grant money that will go towards helping Officer Rex and Officer Chase for the K-9 unit. So if you would like to purchase a calendar, they're $17 and they're downstairs at the police department. Also, Friday night I attended the 35-year celebration of the Dauphin County Domestic Violence, and I just wanted to congratulate Jessica, who is our domestic violence advocate from Dauphin County. She's down in our police department. I wanted to thank her for being a part of that and how much she has helped Laura Paxton and the police officers that did attend on Friday night. On Sunday, the Colonial Park Rotary had a chili cook-off, and we had really good winners here in Lower Paxton.
Yes.
So the police department got 3 first places. They were in the Judge's Choice, the People's Choice, and the First Responder's Choice. And then Colonial Park Fire Company, 33, they got a 2nd place in the, let me see here, I have it written down, People's Choice for Business and Organization, and a 2nd place for Emergency Service Division. So they're both ready to go next year to fight to see who has the best chili. So, but they had a great time, and it was nice seeing them. Mr. Zumas, Mr. Henry, and myself were able to go, and it was nice seeing them.
Bill, there's a
Yeah.
challenge for Lingelstown next year. The
Yeah,
Lingelstown
and
Fire
maybe
Department needs
Paxtonia to
and-
get involved. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. But if you would like to help the K-9 unit out, please stop by the police department and purchase a calendar.
Okay. Mr. Judd, Mr. Zumas, do you have any comments?
2 quick comments. Tomorrow morning, Senator DeSanto will be hosting Coffee with Lower Paxton Township Police. It's It's going to be over at St. Thomas Roasters, starting at 7:30 in the morning for a couple hours, affording the residents an opportunity to come in, talk to the police department. Maybe they have some questions or concerns. Be a good time to ask. And then tomorrow at 10 a.m., Representative Lewis is hosting a senior expo from 10 to 1 p.m., and that will be at the community center at that Devonshire Church building that's across from Springgate Winery. And that's at 10 to 1. So let everybody know that you're welcome to attend.
Very good. Mr. Judd and I are too young for the senior expo, right, Chris? Oh, yeah.
Mr. Henry, I don't think so. You're my age.
Thanks, Robin. Thank you all. At this point, manager's report. Mr. Godshall.
Yes, sir. Members of the board, just one item for tonight, if I may. Accenture Federal Services, a professional services company that has performed work for, among other organizations in the past, the Ronald McDonald House, Sunflower Fields Garden, and Friends of Harrisburg, has offered to perform this year's annual Day of Service at the Friendship Center on October 14th. From 1 to 4 p.m., Accenture will coordinate a crew of volunteers to assist with landscaping outdoors, painting locker rooms and bathrooms, and other rather quite labor-intensive activities that the center is in need of at this point. So I just want to thank, and staff thanks, Accenture Federal Services for selecting the center to perform this year's Day of Service.
Very good. Thank you for that. Okay. We will now move on to old business. And our first item under old business, we need to take action on an application for payment number 2 for the township's 2019 road paving project. Mr. Godshall.
Yes, sir. Board members, as part of the 2019 Township Paving Project, HRG has transmitted this application for payment on behalf of our contractor, Pensy Supply, in the amount of $339,165.77. This pay app is associated with the original contract as identified on the summary sheet in your packets. Now, the physical improvements of the project have been completed at this point throughout the township, but the board shall be receiving at least 1 or 2 other applications for payment to close out the original contract and also the additional change order as approved by the board back in August, which added additional roadways to be paved. So that is in your packet for action tonight.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we present the application for payment number 2 to Pensy Supply in the amount of $339,165.77 to be paid.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any public comment or questions? Any board member comment or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Item B, we need to take action on Resolution 1922-11. This will endorse and authorize the submission of a Dauphin County local share grant application for the Central Penn Crusaders Youth Football Organization. Mr. Godshall.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this resolution, in conjunction with Resolutions 19-22-01 through 19-22-10, lends public support and authorizes the submission of a grant application by the Central Penn Crusaders to the Dauphin County Local Share Grant Program in the amount of $15,000. Having received this request a little late, this project was not part of the original ranking structure as developed by the board during your August workshop and the second business meeting. However, the county has indicated that they will be willing to accept the resolution on Crusaders' behalf if adopted tonight. And I'm not sure, I believe we have a representative of the organization in the audience tonight.
Okay.
Would
you like to make any comment, or you just want to take questions? Okay, please come to the podium and give us your name and address.
My name is Jocelyn Miller. I live at on La Brea Drive in Harrisburg. I am a board member, a parent, and also the game day manager with the Central Penn Crusaders youth football program. This year in 2019, it is our inaugural year. We have approximately 140 boys and girls who are a part of our program, and we play weekly at Bishop McDevitt High School. This is week number 7. We're asking for your support with respect to hosting all-star games in our postseason. These games have the potential to draw not just local residents, but children from out of state, hundreds of children who come. There are 3 all-star games that we are looking to host in our area, and we believe greatly that it'll have wonderful impact on Lower Paxton Township as well as Dauphin County.
So will the money go towards?
The money will actually be used towards supporting the actual game day. We experience a lot of expenditures, so things like jerseys for the players on the day, concessions, making sure that our participants and our families and parents are fed, EMT, referees. So it can be quite costly to host these events. But we know that the children greatly love them. You know, families get excited and have a wonderful time, and it really is a wonderful draw for the county and for the township.
How many years has your program been in effect?
This is our first year.
I was going to say, because I never heard of before. That's
Yes.
why I was curious.
This is our
Okay.
first year, and thus far we've had great success.
Good.
So,
Good.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any board questions? Any public question or comment? Anybody care to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 19-22-11, endorsing and authorizing the submission of a Dauphin County Local Share Grant application for the Central Penn Crusaders Youth Football Program.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. There you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
We'll now move on to new business where we need to take action on a confirmation of assignment for the Friendship Center HVAC RTU replacement phase 2. Mr. Godshall.
Yes, Mr.
Very
Chairman.
technical there.
Yes, yes. Allow me to explain, if I may. So, as part of the 2019 series general obligation bond, the board has allocated approximately $331,000 towards the phase 2 of the Friendship Center's HVAC rooftop unit replacement project, which is before the board tonight. The physical improvements of phase 1 are wrapping up at this current moment in time, having replaced units numbered 7 and 8. Phase 2, for which the board again has before it tonight a confirmation of assignment from HRG, will replace the remaining rooftop units numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9, and also 2 energy recovery and condensing units. That will be a part of that phase 2 project. This confirmation of assignment will direct HRG to undertake project design, bidding, construction contract administration, and construction observation. And it comes with an estimated fee of $31,600. So at this time, I would attempt to answer any questions of the board, if not very technical.
Mr. Gottschall, my understanding is that all these units are right about 20 years old,
That is correct. Yeah,
and they were all installed at the same time.
correct. Yeah, both of these phases, all the units are the same age, and we've experienced the failure of 2 of them. This remaining phase and these units, while have not failed outright, have been inspected by the engineer and the professionals in that field, and they determined that it's about time to replace those as well.
And then, Mr. Gutschall, is this going to take care of all the units on the rooftop?
Yeah, correct.
They'll all be replaced?
Yeah, correct.
Do you know what the warranty is on the ones that we're replacing?
I would have to get back to you on that answer.
And this is the point where a lot of the big ticket items at the Friendship Center slowly are coming up for refurbishment, just because of the building, the age of the building.
And they've set aside no money to deal with these issues. Hence, we are borrowing money to do it. Any additional board questions or comments?
I'll make a motion.
And any public questions or comments? Okay, your motion, Mr. Judd?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we approve the application or the confirmation of assignment for the Friendship Center HVAC RTU replacement Phase 2 as outlined.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that takes us to item B, action on agreement with Susquehanna Group Advisors for financial consulting services relative to the 2019 bond issue. Mr. Gottschall, if anybody's earned their money, these folks have earned their money dealing with the chaotic nature of the markets over the last couple of months.
Roller coaster.
It's been a roller coaster, yes.
Yes, members of the board, Mr. Wanger and company have kept the township quite well informed, and so before the board tonight is their agreement, which would essentially, in an official capacity, name Susquehanna Group Advisors as the township's financial consultant, specifically for the purpose of completing that bond issue. Through the successful closing of the bond, which at this point seems to be set for October 10th.
We're getting very close.
Very close.
Yeah. Considering we just spent part of it, it better close on September 10th or October 10th. Any board questions about this agreement?
Did we mention the payment, the amount?
Yes, sir. The agreement comes at a cost of $40,000, which would be paid upon closing of the bond.
I just had two things. There's a typographical error in the first sentence. If you could take TH out of there. See it?
I believe we are
This?
to put in there the date.
The date, okay.
Yeah. So the,
Okay.
But
Okay.
it would
And
be
then I
the-
noticed they haven't
ST.
signed it. Usually we have things signed before we approve it.
Yeah. If that's the pleasure of the board, I could. The board could act to approve it conditional.
Okay.
Conditioned upon the signature. Sure. Sure.
They're going to sign it considering they've already performed most of the
Yeah.
work.
I know, but we usually have everything signed.
I'm sure they're
so-
going to want this agreement. Any public question or comment? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we pass the agreement with Susquehanna Group Advisors in the amount of $40,000 for financial consulting services relative to the 2019 bond issue upon their agreement with the signature, please.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. That now takes us to subdivision and land development. We have improvement guarantees here. A number. Anybody have any questions?
I just had a question with Meadowview, so we're totally finished over there, Steve? Good. Okay, great. That makes me happy.
Meadow Village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's call it Meadowview, Meadow Village, yeah.
Any other questions? Any public questions? May we have a motion then to approve the improvement guarantees?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we improve the guarantees, and the development agreements, and the plan reaffirmations as presented.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That takes us to payment of bills of Lower Paxton Township and the Lower Paxton Township Authority. Madam Treasurer.
Yes, I make a motion that we pay the bills of Lower Paxton Township and Lower Paxton Township Authority.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any announcements?
Just quickly, just like to congratulate the Linglestown Civic Association for the great job they did hosting the Taste of Linglestown. It was a huge success. I think we had, I heard 700 plus tickets sold, which is tremendous. The weather was cooperative, and it seemed like everyone had a great time. So congratulations to the Civic Association for hosting a great event.
Do you have a date, Bill, for next year? Okay. Same, is it, I'm trying to think, the third Saturday? Or was that the fourth Saturday? Third Saturday of September? In and about? Okay. Yeah, I understand there were some people that came, but the tickets were all sold out. So what to think the first year, would you start with 200 or 300 tickets, and now you're up to 700? Yeah, great time.
Would you want to mention that, please? Okay, Mr. Judd, you have an announcement?
I don't know if I missed it. Usually, Ms. Lindsay is all over these things.
Uh-oh.
We have our fall festival.
I missed it because I can't attend. I'll be out of town. I'm sorry.
Well, it's still going to happen.
I know, but I forgot. I didn't have it on my my paper here.
Well, you do more than your share, not only of announcing these things, but being there. But the Fall Festival is coming up Saturday, beginning 3:30 at George Park. And it's a great time for everybody who's watching. We'll hope for good weather. And come on out, bring the family.
Might be a little chillier. Hopefully this year the hay wagon doesn't get stuck in the mud.
Well, they're not calling for rain, so I don't think we have to worry
that
about
was a
being.
problem last year.
Till Monday.
Well, such is what happens with these events. Anybody have anything else? The next meeting of this board will be next Tuesday, October 8th at 7 p.m. It will be a workshop meeting right here in this room. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.